Hey, Dragon's Lair. Welcome back to another episode for not your pull list, but it should be. Walker, you can get more in frame. I'm not going to bite. Get closer. There you go.
All right.
Welcome to another new video Wednesday. It's just me and Walker today in the morning for it right now. We'll go ahead and jump right into some of what we got. I only got to read one book so far, but I have a couple different ones lined up that I want to read. The main one I read was X-Men Red #2. So this is following still, like with the first one, the colony of mutants that are now living on Mars. Because they live on Mars now. It's mainly following Storm as she creates her own Brotherhood of Mutants, essentially to be the X-Men of Mars. Although I feel like X-Men of Mars would have been a much better title.
Yeah.
X-Men Red works, I get it. That was primarily for the first issue. The second issue is coming up with Sword, which is like X-Men Space Division right now at the moment, and how they're dealing with X-Men now being on Mars too, as they're kind of worried about stuff like that. So you're following Brand as she's creating a team of Cable, some people I don't know, and then Vulcan. Vulcan being, I don't know. I don't think we have time to get into Cyclops' family history. But Cyclops has, there's his brother Havoc, there's his dad, the space pirate. He's a space pirate. And then his brother is a space emperor, but also the whole book is just him being really, really whiny the whole time and complaining about, I'm an emperor! Fear me!
Is that any different from what Cyclops usually is, though?
I won't allow Cyclops slander in here. I love Cyclops. But they deal with the first threat that kind of just appears up on Mars in a colony of mutants, being more of the progenitors. It's essentially just think another Sentinel type deal. Like, it's just meant to be a quick fight that they'll go through, so that, you know, they kind of cleanly get everything handed to them. Cable dies, but not really, because in this era of X-Men, you just get reborn again, and you just don't remember you died, but you know that you died. As, of course, Storm and her whole new Brotherhood of Mutants with Magneto in it kind of all comes down and starts to help out with everybody they have there, including one person on the team that just isn't a mutant, from what I can account. Of course, it ends with probably the best scene I think there is, where, again, it's Cyclops' brother, Vulcan, kind of just whining about everything as Storm kind of just slaps him down. It's the whole thing. Like, he's whining, he's being all busy about it, he's screaming and going, Storm just, no.
No, there's a reason why I like Storm.
But no, I've still been really liking this, especially if you want, like, a more Storm-focused story, this is definitely going to be the one to follow with, as, again, Storm's, like, the main lead for it. So the other ones to go over that I haven't had the chance to read yet, for DC, the one I'm most excited about is Batman Superman World's Finest, issue 3. This is following, there's an ancient evil curse they have to break. Robin and Supergirl traveled back in time in the last issue to find out the origins of it, as Batman and Superman try to figure out what's going on now for it.
You've been jumping at the bits for that one, too?
I absolutely love Batman and Superman team-ups, especially when it's actually, you know, them being friends like they should be, not trying to kill each other.
But that's always the best part.
There's Shadow War. This is the current kind of Deathstroke story arc that's being focused on right now. This is, of course, the totally not Days of Future Past variant cover that I had to get. The last two I have in here, there's Rain, which is, pretty sure I've gone over almost every issue here, but I haven't read this one yet. This is, again, the story of, it's the sad lesbian story, because one of them dies when it starts to rain glass and just kill thousands of people. Yes, it rains glass constantly.
Okay.
All right. I think, do you want to go over what you got this week?
Yeah, so what I picked up this week was the variant edition of Solo and Chewbacca #2. It kind of picks up where #1 left off, where you meet
his dad, right?
Yeah.
It ends with this, hey, son.
Yeah, no, and so the first issue ends with Han Solo meeting his supposed dad, and at first I thought it was going to be your typical Marvel storyline of, oh, he says his dad, it's not really it, and then he's all surprised that it wasn't his dad, and he was betrayed. But in the comic...
Who could have seen that coming?
Yeah, but in the comic, in the opening of it, they really pull, like, a little scene from Han Solo's childhood past where he's, oh my god, I can't, where he's really
that I'm hurt. Oh my god. You're just that poor bug.
So, but pulls a scene from Han Solo's childhood where he's talking to his dad, and his dad's like, "Hey, I built ships. You're not gonna do that. You're meant for more. You're gonna fly them." And just so it goes over this overarching story, from what I'm getting at, this is actually the job that Han Solo screws up for Jabba before Episode 4.
It's going to be that. Okay, that's what it's going to be.
So, and also a, fan favorite character, if you're insane.
Jar Jar Binks?
No. Greedo! Because we all know Han shot first.
That counts because he was in the deleted scene for Episode 1.
Shush. We don't talk about Kid Greedo. That leaves me with nightmares. But really, it's Greedo, Han, Chewie, and his dad breaking into this giant security vault bank thing. And, of course, during that operation, Han Solo tells Greedo, "Don't touch anything, you idiot." And then Greedo proceeds to touch stuff, which gets all of Corellia on their butt. And it was...
Is Greedo just going to be like a bumbling buffoon?
No, I mean, like, it's like, hey, don't touch stuff. I'm going to touch the vase because I can't.
I really hope that's what Greedo ends up being now in this whole series. It's just, he ruins everything by accident.
You also get... Excuse you.
It's the ghosts, so don't worry about it.
You also get a little, cameo from Bib Fortuna. This scene with a marshal of Tatooine trying to hunt down Han Solo. And Bib Fortuna is telling him, don't screw with it, because Jabba is using him right now. So, I think this is definitely a good read and definitely a good pickup.
You're enjoying it so far?
Yeah, number one definitely wasn't my favorite, but number two actually picked
Well, I
up.
know, because when you read number one, you almost believe at this point they're going to do the Han Solo dad origin story thing.
Yeah.
But that's not what they're doing.
I like the difference of it, and I still like how it does kind of keep that campy Star Wars comic look and feel that they've been doing for the past couple of years since Marvel has taken over. So, yeah, all in all, I would say it's a pretty good story and a worthy pickup.
All right, now for the one you're really excited to talk about.
Okay, cool. So, anybody who knows me personally at the store, they all know that my favorite superhero is Moon Knight. And you can ask Josh, I've been, like, jumping up and down and non-stop asking Elizabeth and him, when is this thing going to come in? This released last week. It is Moon Knight, Black, White, and Blood. And this is probably one of the best, and if not the prettiest Moon Knight comic books I have ever read.
So I know that is a trend they've done with a lot of stuff. There was a Carnage one we have in trade paperback. There's an Elektra one that came out this week. Harley Quinn's done one. They have Superman, red, white, blue.
Yeah. So from what I'm getting at for this is that it's kind of like a collection of different stories. In the beginning, you kind of have Moon Knight with some little random girl, and they're being hunted down by stuff, and you're just trying to figure out what's going on. It's kind of cute.
The little dynamic between them.
On their interactions.
It's an easy dynamic when you get an old, grizzly, angry person who murders people for a living, and then you get just like a little kid.
But I mean, like, the artwork in this is just...
They're almost
amazing.
always beautiful. It's just the contrast in the colors they typically end up choosing, along with it being focused on short stories, so you get a lot of different, like, color dynamics with it.
And then,
that one looks nice.
And then the second half of the story is actually Spider-Man and...
Oops.
Don't screw up my comic.
It can't be worse than what you're going to do to it anyways.
And then the second story is actually Moon Knight and Superman. Doing Moon Knight and Superman? Not Superman. Oh, I'm on something. I got 4 hours of sleep last night. Don't judge me.
Go ahead.
Spidey. Brad's going to kill me for that. But no, it's him and Spider-Man. And the whole point of the story, really, is that Spider-Man is asking him for his Mr. Knight suit. And Moon Knight's just kind of like, fine, if you help me out, do this stuff, then I will let you borrow it. And kind of the recurring theme of it is it's so white, yet so dark. Of that story, like, that keeps on being mentioned and mentioned over and over again. And then, near the end of that storyline, next thing you know, you see Deadpool. Because
yes.
You have to have Deadpool in it.
Well, this because Deadpool is coming up because he wants to ask to borrow his suit, too. I want to say, I love the Mr. Knight suit.
And then the third story is Moon Knight actually protecting, I think it's like a civil attorney or someone like that from Assassins, and I think the artwork in that on the third story is probably my favorite. It just the contrast with the red and black is so beautiful.
It's really
with
nice. I like the paneling they have for it too.
and it looks amazing. So yeah. Do you have anything else
All
you'd
right.
like me to talk about?
Well, this is the last. Well, I guess I'll finish it with the series. The recent series I had. So it's not a brand new one, but it's one that I grabbed up off the shelf, as I know we've had it for a bit, and I had some interest. It's the World of Krypton. This being just, again, a whole kind of origin beginning story for what happened on Krypton before, they sent Superman away to go to Earth. And it starts out pretty early, before he's born, but during the first birth for Kara, being Supergirl, if you're unfamiliar. But it's following just like the whole story and downfall of it all, with Jor-El creating the Phantom Zone as he thinks his way to escape. He goes, this isn't a good idea, let's get rid of that. And then, of course, Zod going like, no, I'm going to use that. As Zod, a big part of the story is like the downfall of civilization, and like Zod getting overzealous, and like the second somebody is like slightly out of line, all right, I'm shooting you and sending you to the Phantom Zone to suffer for all eternity. As of course the story eventually ends with them finding out they're having Kal-El and they're going to send him to Earth as a last hope, since they already know their planet's doomed to fail.
The one thing that I do forget is that Supergirl is older than Superman.
Yes,
And
because it's the whole thing of
what
like
freaks
getting
me out
lost in
sometimes.
space or stuck a lot. But I think that would be the last of all that we got to read over for this week then. So, all right. See you guys.